Hello, everyone. This is another Freedom to Feel conversation, and my guest today is Sharon Sammut. Hopefully, I got it right. She's an entrepreneur, certified PSYCH-K facilitator, holistic health coach, founder of Align Your Future, and the creator of the online program EmpowerHer. So this is my brief introduction to Sharon, as always, I always do. But a question that I love asking is, how would you describe yourself in this very moment, Sharon? Who are you?
I'm Sharon Sammut. I'm a registered holistic health practitioner, PSYCH-K facilitator. I am just waking up at the present moment. It's 5:30 a.m. here in Australia, so very early. I'm very passionate about what I do. I love connecting with people and sharing my knowledge and my experience and my journey, my life story, to empower those to reignite the power within themselves. And that's what I feel my mission is right now.
When did you feel this was your mission? This was your purpose?
Absolutely.
Was it a moment in time?
It was actually. It was a very clear moment in time. Well, ever since I was a very young age, even though there was a lot of trauma growing up, I always felt like there was a very special magic. And I always felt like I'd think about something and it would come true. It would come to reality. And anyway, so I've always been a high achiever, always challenged myself, always had very professional, high-profile careers. And I met my now husband many, many years ago. And at the time, we decided to open up a construction company. So we'd been running this together for about 15 years. And there came a point where I really felt strongly that there was something more I needed to do. I love my job. It was the foundation of everything we'd created in life. And it wasn't about the job itself. It was about more so what I was doing and how I was living life. And there was a really big nudge in me to explore myself more, to explore the world more. Even though I travelled and all of those things, it was more an internal thing for me. I'd often actually go to the office and I'd feel a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort in my body, and I'd often ask myself, because I'd already gone down the fields of alternative medicines, holistic health, since my early 20s, when I did find myself in some disease, and I was seeking the advice of alternative therapies, because unfortunately there wasn't much more anyone could do for me in allopathic. So I explored that from a very young age, and just this point in my life, I'm like, I need to do more. So it took a lot of courage to say, hey, I need a change. And lucky for me, I picked a really good man who encouraged me to find what it was I was searching for. So I was working in the construction company. At the same time, I began to study PSYCH-K, quantum health coaching, and then I'm at 40, maybe 3 it was at the time, I enrolled at Quantum University, and I started studying holistic health with my idols, people like, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden. So these were all my mentors, and then they become now my lecturers. So it was just opened up a whole new world, and I just had to share it. I just had to share it with the world, because it changed my life, and it just started changing the life of so many around me, and then it started expanding to those beyond.
Yes. What a journey, right?
It was just very strong feeling that I had to do more.
Right.
Or I had to do different. Yeah, I had to do different.
Yes. Right. So what is that about coaching that is, it really connects you with other people? That's one question. And then why just women? Do you only coach women, or do you also coach men?
In PSYCH-K, when I began, it was men and women, anyone. And it's not so much coaching. I'm actually a registered practitioner. So it's more about support and guidance for those on a journey of self-discovery also. And I moved to women
Yeah.
for the online world. I was just bringing in and attracting a lot of women. So I changed my scope to be around women. So women are born with a knowing, and it's just if I can start reaching those women that are feeling stagnant and stuck, they open up the world to that knowing and that innate feeling that they have. So, yeah, for me, that's why it's women. But my career has always been men and women prior to going online.
Right. Now, yeah, I became a bit more curious about this knowing. What is that about? How would you describe that?
Yeah, so it's just the feeling that you know. So whether it comes to an event that's happening and you know what's good for you and you know
Yeah.
what's not good for you, you know naturally how to nurture your children. We are nurturers by nature. So it's just that innate knowing, that feeling in your belly when you know something is just right for you. And I think a lot of us have lost touch with that really special quality that we are born with as women. Just so busy because women are juggling many roles, and this is another reason I created this journey, I created this program. It's about finding the balance in life so we can do business, can be mums, can be wives and sisters and friends, and doing it with ease and aligning with the abundance, and finding that knowing that we can connect again to ourselves, and to all the events around us with that knowing, and just trusting and setting the boundaries around that and being okay with it.
Yes. Yeah. So it is connected to intuition, right, Sharon, in a way?
Correct. That's right. That I just refer to it as that knowing, that intuitive knowing that you know.
Yeah. And it's not just it's a quality that women have. Men, we humans, right, are born with that. But do you feel like women have more access to that knowing
I
naturally?
think so, just because of the feminine, obviously the feminine and masculine energies, but just I feel like the feminine energy, because women are taking on so many roles, is actually being lost
Ah,
in life. So it's just, of course, we need both the energies, but I do feel like that feminine energy is something we really need to align with again and have that balance of, yes, we can do everything and anything, we all can, but the balance is a really beautiful thing.
right. Is that how you define success these days, Cheryl? Would be going back, finding balance?
For me, my journey was about harmony across all energy bodies. I was very much came from a place of living in 24/7 survival. I created a life from fear of losing. And so I put all my energy into that area of life, into making money, because I had a big fear of losing it all. And this stemmed from a childhood traumas, a life of the belief systems I've created based on that. So I was very much living my success before I discovered the harmony, before I discovered the four energy bodies, was about that.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was about finding the balance of being successful in business, a present mum, a present wife, and being healthy as well. Because if you've got one thing and doing really well, but all else is falling apart, my question is, what's the point? What's the point of having $1 million if your kids won't speak to you or your body is riddled with disease? And success is different for all of us. It means so many different things. So I don't like to put it in a box. But for me, true success and real success is having balance in all areas of life and experiencing abundance in all areas of life. And I do believe that's our birthright, to live that way. And this is why I created the EmpowerHer system, to take you through the steps and aligning with the abundance, and having success in all areas of life. That's my definition of success. For me, it was, okay, making money, but I wasn't a present mum.
Right.
I wasn't healthy. So for me, success means having all of that and doing it with ease.
Wow. That sounds wonderful. Like almost like the idea, I wouldn't say of perfection, but yeah, of living life in alignment with life itself, like you said. Yeah, that's really in alignment with life. Well, I talked to somebody long ago, and I remember this idea of balance, and she said, "No, I believe that life sometimes will create some sort of imbalance, so we can move toward a direction that's more necessary for that moment." So is that, because I'm just trying to thank you if it is possible, because my idea is always my let's say my guiding principle is always to find inner peace.
Mm.
From that, everything else becomes easier. It might not be easy, but it becomes so much more, let's say, doable, or something happens when I feel that I am. So I'm wondering if that has to do with the balance that you speak of.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. But it's about discovering that awareness first, isn't it? So there needs to be an awareness that is telling you whether it's your body in dis-ease, whether it's your family member not speaking to you because you're not present, whatever it be. But there needs to be that awareness that comes to you, and you need to be honest enough to recognize that awareness, and then you need to be honest enough to make the change. So yes, of course, the universe is going to show you ways. Often the physical body and the way it speaks to us in pain or discomfort is very much it telling us that something is out of alignment, right? So it's about listening to that. And then from one awareness, it leads you to the next awareness. And from there, you evolve. So our true self is the self that's forever evolving. Yes, of course, the universe is going to send us messages and signs, and our body is going to do the same. But you need to be willing to listen and to grow from that awareness. So it's always the initial awareness. And for me, the initial awareness was my body in pain and discomfort.
Yeah.
And then from there, listening to that and asking internally and not seeking external. And then from there, it's about recognizing the next thing and being aware of the next thing. And it's a slow process sometimes, but it's a process of evolution, of me growing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, connecting with all those. And then my physical body is feeling better, and I know I'm doing the right thing. So yes, it's about peace. But I believe because I do want to be good in business, and I do want to be a present mum and wife. And with that alignment comes peace for me.
Wow, that's interesting the way you put that together. It's so unique in that sense. So yeah, awareness, of course. From my practice, is always becoming aware that I am aware. It always goes back to that. Even if I can't do anything, at least I'm aware of it. And if I can't do anything, then the next step is to acceptance. So I don't dwell on it and don't suffer from it. Because I think life is, right. And that's another question that I have for you about suffering and self-imposed limitations. I actually wrote this question here before for you. So what is the connection between them? Self-imposed limitations and suffering. Do you make that connection?
Self-imposed, that's a big question. I think we could actually talk about that in itself for a very long time.
Right.
But limitations come from our belief system. So, and a belief comes from a repeated thought. So we repeat a thought. So someone might say something to us, or we might hear something, and we have that thought on repeat. And once we believe it, it's actually a program that's downloaded in the subconscious mind. Okay, so then the subconscious mind is the mind that runs without us having to think about it, the same way that your heart beats your body digests, that you talk, you walk. You don't have to think about these programs, no different to a computer system. These are the programs that are downloaded in us, and when we are not in conscious awareness, it's the subconscious mind that takes over. Okay, so we're living 95% of our life in the subconscious mind. And this is what I'm all about, and this is what PSYCH-K is all about. It's bringing a limitation to your conscious awareness, because once you are aware of a limitation, then you can begin to dismantle that limitation. Okay? Yeah. So suffering connected to beliefs, of course, but it's also here your perception of a situation, which is again formed by your belief system. Yes?
Right.
So your perception is based on your belief, and that belief determines how you see the world and how you show up in the world. So let's say I'm running a business.
Yeah.
And something's gone not according to plan. I don't like to use the word failure, but something hasn't gone according to plan.
Yeah.
What's my perception? Do I suffer because of that? Or do I shift my belief system, to shift my perception to take it as a lesson? Because now my perception is that it's a lesson. And now because of that lesson, I'm stronger than I was before. I'll take the lesson and I'll keep on going. Or you can play the victim and you can you can show up as suffering.
Yeah.
But it's your perception of the situation ultimately.
Yes. Okay. So you did answer my question. So they are connected. Suffering, limiting beliefs, perception.
Yeah. But again, it's your perception if you choose to suffer or not.
Yes. Interesting. So I don't want to make this a belief system. Do you feel that we can navigate this reality called life without suffering, without any type of suffering? I do make a distinguish. I separate pain from suffering, though. I believe that pain is inevitable, right?
Yeah, there's always going to be an emotion that comes up. And this is when you're going internal, and you said earlier, when you are resonating with peace, there's always going to be the universe showing you either something repeated from the past or a new event that's going to create new emotions or trigger old emotions. So yes, we are going to experience everything in life. To say that we're going to be superheroes and never be in suffering or upset isn't realistic. We are human and we experience emotion.
Right.
However, again, and again, this is about emotional intelligence now, I believe. It's about understanding how to allow those emotions to come up without judging them and allowing them to come up and then letting them go and not giving them your power. This is what, for many years I've done, and a lot of people I see around me, is that we have an emotion and we resist, and we keep giving it our energy without realizing it. And we're actually making that amplify, because where you put your energy amplifies, right? So it's about that emotional intelligence, about allowing those emotions to come up and not resisting them. And this is actually disempowering them. And once you disempower them, you become aware that you can create a new belief, a new perception around what it is you are going through at that point. So to answer your question, will we ever live a life without suffering? No, there's going to be things that come up. It's just being, in that awareness all the time, and remembering to remember that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. Remember to remember. So it is a practice, isn't it?
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
And having support around you and having those tools that you can use to shift those perceptions and those beliefs, so important, because you've got a tool belt that you can use whenever these things come up.
Right. So yeah, I usually say that here. with some of my guests, knowing how to go back home, to return home in a way, isn't it, Sharon?
Absolutely.
Leaving for this adventure, wild adventure called life, leaving home for that, but then knowing how to come back. So I titled this episode, Accessing Our Whole Self, Finding True Power. I hope you're okay with that.
Beautiful.
That will
I
be the
love
title.
that.
So I have a question for you about, I have too many questions, but spirituality. I know you mentioned that. That's one of my, this is my foundation. That's the essence of this, which I call life. So to me, it's spiritual. Spirituality, what is spiritual, which is the invisible world, it's actually is a substance that sustains everything. That's physical. We perceive as physical, body, mind. So what is your idea of spirituality, Cheryl?
So firstly, huge. And in a nutshell, when I found spirituality again in my life is when my life completely transformed. So when we are talking, firstly in my field, in the quantum field and in whole health, when we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about one of the 4 energy bodies that I speak a lot about, and that's spirituality. And when we have blocks in spiritual, mental, emotional, this is what manifests in the physical body as dis-ease, okay? So it's called a downward causation model. So that's the holistic health model.
Right.
Spirituality to me doesn't mean religion, doesn't mean anything except for knowing that we are all energy and we are all connected, and knowing spirituality to me is about connecting to the self that's forever growing and forever evolving. And the most beautiful thing, because I grew up in a very religious household and I completely disconnected with religion because for me there was a lot of indiscrepancies with what I was being told and what I was seeing. So it made me lose touch of my spirituality as well, until later on in life I realized actually they're 2 completely different things. But it actually took, because I was so conditioned and so programmed, it actually took me a really long time. But now I feel so connected and so guided every day. I see answers in front of me. My path forward is very clear. And I go back to that place of evolution as energy, as God, as the quantum field, whatever you would like to call it. It's all the same thing. We are all part of a field that is unlimited and it's beautiful and it's a place of abundance and joy, and I can't imagine living life not connected. It's just gives me so many answers, and also the knowing that you don't have to, when you are connected, that you don't have to do things alone. You are guided and you are supported, and I feel that every single day. And yes, I'm very spiritual. I connect with spirit. I connect with angels. It's a part of what I do, and it's a part of. Sometimes I feel like I can share that with some people that I work with, and other times, they want to know about the quantum field and the science. That it's all the same thing. So sometimes it's just picking the right words, but in all truth, when we connect to our truth and to our love, is when we are living in our true essence, because we are energy. And we understand that energy is infinite. That means we are infinite and there's absolutely no limits. And when you have that foundational belief, anything is possible, and you are guided and supported every step of the way, because we are not alone. Entanglement, we are all together. We are all one. And I've seen so many beautiful things happen just with that knowing, and the communities that I connect with, and the power that people have together to transform. It gives me goosebumps. Just all of our PSYCH-K community coming together and balancing for someone who's unwell and just seeing them transform. And it's so beautiful what we can do as a collective and individually when we believe that we are infinite.
Mm. Going back to the knowing that you spoke of, we all know that there's something beyond the body mind. Why does it take so long for some of us to realize that? Because, as you said too beautifully, as a confirmation too, that this is where suffering is coming from. The limiting beliefs, especially the one that we are just the body and the mind and nothing else. Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
That's a really big question, but a lot of people don't actually have the belief that we are any more than a physical body. We have a lot of people in this society that are living in a 3D model still. They don't believe that we are anything more. And this is what people, I guess, like us, are raising together. We're raising the consciousness of humanity, and a lot more people are starting to resonate with the idea that we are more than a physical body. A lot of males, I feel, because they're more mechanical, I guess. They want to see the working parts of everything. For them, someone like Dr. Joe Dispenza will resonate because he does come from spirituality, but he has a lot of that science background, so he can show the facts. Whereas I come probably from more of a spiritual, super conscious, subconscious. A lot of people want to see, or not a lot of people, but many people would like to see some clear facts around that. And I think that's where people get a little bit stuck in the alignment of spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. Again, we've also been conditioned with the belief of materialism that if there's something wrong, we take something to fix it. Right. So it's a lot of unlearning that needs to happen, because a lot of what we view, a lot of what we hear is very much about the physical, about the symptoms. Okay, you take something, you take a symptom away. It takes ownership away from the self.
Right.
So, and this is the work of the PSYCH-K, is that shifting those beliefs and shifting those limitations. And then to go back to self and to explore self, to evolve and return to our essence.
Yes. Wow. Do you have a vision for a future that is, let's say, that's, how can I even put that? That's flavored by this idea of the self that you speak of, which has to do with knowing that you are already that we don't need to try so hard to force things, control, manipulate, and all that.
Yeah. Look, there's so much going on in the world right now. A lot of hurt, a lot of suffering. We are all seeing it, a lot of control. For me, I speak about what my intention is. I've already touched that we are all one, and as a collective, we are super powerful. And we can make a change. And whether it be your perception is we are all doomed, I don't see it that way. I think this is a beautiful time of evolution. And this is about raising human consciousness. This is about my work reminding you that the power you need is within you. Once there's that belief, and once someone reignites that fire in their soul, that's lifting the frequency of the universe, because our energy doesn't stop with us.
Right.
Whatever we are shifting with us ripples out into the universe, to those around us and beyond. So when we are doing the work and we are igniting that fire in our soul, We are raising the consciousness, the frequency, the vibration of the universe, and together we rise. And I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a lot of people rising, a lot of people looking for new, a lot of people seeking answers to questions that haven't been answered. Is that right? Yeah. But
Yeah.
so for me, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of people that are unsure with the things I'm saying, the things I'm doing. However, I know they're listening. I see they're watching. I see they're listening, and to me that says they're learning. Their frequency is shifting.
Right.
So fundamentally, the more we ignite the power, the more we rise together. So I see it as evolution. I don't see it as doomsday.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
And it's
Yes.
potentially the best time of the world for change in humans. Again, perception.
Yes, Cheryl, I love that. Yes, I absolutely agree. Yeah, if we can change here, we can change everything. So I guess I'm speaking from the perspective of the activists, peace. I think they call them world peace activists. I interviewed one recently. So they have been doing this work for a long time, since the 60s, some of them.
Absolutely.
And they are very disappointed that it actually they don't see a lot of change, that they are not really happy with the results of trying so hard for peace, world peace, and we are not even close to it. So, and like you said beautifully, it's just it's a perspective again. It's a perception. So we can't really try to live other realities, I guess, isn't it? We try to live somebody else's lives.
Yeah, something just came to me when you were saying that, and I'll share it.
Yeah.
Which I mentioned already a little bit of it a minute ago. But where are you putting your energy? Okay, so if you are seeing war and violence on the news every day, you're putting your energy in there. So you're amplifying that. So you are resonating with that frequency, which is fear, control. So what's happening to the universe? So I understand the work of these activists, and I've been there and I've been part of them for a big part of my life, okay? I was that person. But if I'm putting my energy into something, I'm amplifying it. It's as simple as that. I do not wish to resonate with the fear, with the control, with the violence. I choose to resonate with truth, with love, with trust. And I'm resonating at that frequency. And that's where I choose to put my energy. Do I listen to the news? Never. I know what's going on. But if I put all my energy there, that's how I'm going to be living my life.
Yeah.
And that's not my choice for this lifetime anymore, or for humanity. If I want to see humanity shifting its frequency, I need to be resonating at that frequency, not in fear. I can't lift anyone if I'm in fear. But from love and joy and peace within me, I get to shift the frequency. Make sense? And as you were saying that, it was just like a funnel of information that I just needed to say. Choose where you're putting your energy. Because you're easier control when you're in fear. And yeah, that's where I'll leave that point without getting too much further into it. But that's how I feel about it.
Yes. Yeah. Very beautiful message, insightful, and one that makes a lot of sense to me. And it made me think about the peace activists, if they are actually coming from the victim mentality. Is that the victim mindset, that I'm the victim, everybody else is the victim?
Look, I think they're helping, I'm sure. It's their way of helping,
Yeah.
how they feel. I think they're coming from a good place. But again, I think we need to really think about where we're putting our energy.
Right. So you're saying basically your message is beautiful because to focus the energy in love, which is it is where we come from. That's our foundation anyway. But
Perfect.
how do we maintain that, Cheryl, when we are facing injustice? I'm just wondering how to,
Look,
align this.
I'm very much a person that is very much, if I see something wrong, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I don't stand, I believe in fairness. So I do say it. But if I'm triggered and I feel angry about something, I do refrain from saying something at that moment, until I can reflect within. I still will always say it, but I might not say it in that moment. But like you're saying, if you see something in the street that's wrong, of course you're going to react and you're going to deal with that situation then, possibly from fear and from anger. But if I have a choice and if I'm triggered, I know that's a belief, and I know that's a belief that I need to shift. And then once I've sort of dealt with that and where that's coming up for me and thinking about it in fairness, and then I will say something from that point. I will always say something if something is unfair. It's just sort of the person I am. maybe it's European in me, I'm not sure. But if something's unfair for me or for someone else, I do like to deal with that. I just try not to deal with it if I'm being triggered.
Yes, you don't want to come from that place. So it is truth and kindness, right? Just kind of bringing those two qualities together.
Love, kindness, respect for someone else, even if you don't agree with it, not judging someone. This is a big one. We often judge by first appearances, by what someone may have said, but I think ultimately is we need to start seeing where and understanding more. So instead of judging, have an understanding of why that person has said what they said. And this is a really good thing I've learned over the last couple of years. People are very good at giving opinions even if they're not asked. And again, someone can give you an opinion and it really stops you in your tracks from taking that step forward. Like, you could be dreaming the dream and you could be sharing it with someone and they're like, oh no, that won't work, because blah, blah, blah. I think it's really important that we start understanding that an opinion is a belief of that person. It has no relevance to your life.
Yes.
So a lot of the time when someone is giving me an opinion about my path forward, if I am discussing it, I generally discuss it with professionals these days. But if I am in conversation and someone has an opinion about what I'm doing, I generally just give a smile, because I know that that's coming from their own belief system. It has nothing to do with me and my path and where I'm going. So I don't allow it to affect me and to stop me. It's a really important perception to understand.
So you're really the embodiment of EmpowerHer, right? The program, because that's exactly.
Absolutely. And I, at 47, and going through the life and going through the businesses, I can say that this has changed my life, changed my reality, changed me beyond this reality, changed everything about me.
Yes. How wonderful, Sharon. I really love that. And what's not to love about it, right? Coming from a place of peace. See, I go back to my understanding of peace. You know what that is like.
Absolutely.
So you're just being a reflection of that. And so did we talk about everything? We're almost at the end. So I know you have the 5 steps, the 5-step process with the Empower Her method. This is outlined on your website because I found that there.
Yeah. It's probably easier to read through it, but basically it's about
Yeah.
having a desire, focusing your thoughts and energy, or consciousness,
Mm.
whatever words you'd like to choose, on that desire, understanding the whole health model and how this builds a solid foundation so you can keep opening up yourself to new possibilities, understanding lifestyle frequency swaps. So it's all about understanding how everything's created with a single thought and how we can keep ourselves solid and open to new possibilities and keep on evolving and living in our truth.
Yes, how wonderful. Thank you so much,
Thank
Cheryl,
you
for
so
being you
much. I've
and for
had
your presence.
such a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, that's what I live for. It's it's what else to do here? I don't, there's
Good on you.
nothing else
Love
more
it.
interesting than this.
It's beautiful.
So I want to mention that I love on your website, you also have, you say your consciousness holds everything. I just put hearts around it. That message is really powerful about consciousness. I would just say is everything, but holds everything is the same. And then the offerings you offer a free ebook. So I just want to mention that here. That's available on your website. And I have the link here, alignedyourfuture.com AU. So I have the link will be clickable. And you also offer a book, a free call. If somebody wants a free consultation, that will be
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So redoing pretty much everything, because like I said, my mission is to reach as many and to connect with as many people as I possibly can. I run several businesses, but this is definitely my heart and soul. So it's like I said, it's about switching on that power, reigniting that soul on fire, and just believing that anything is possible. So I'm just in the process of finding new strategies to reach more people. I'm working on theta meditations as well, with which is really something else, a tool that changed my life. But I know we're going ahead of time, so I'm not going to go into that too much. But I'm going to have a whole heap of meditations that will be released by the end of the year that are actually theta meditations that solve specific problems like public speaking, health, spirituality, weight loss, a whole heap of things. So I'm really excited about that because I do believe the subconscious mind holds a lot of programs that we need to shift in order to keep on evolving, to keep moving forward, to keep being unlimited. So I'll be working on those a lot this year.
Yes. Yes. I remember seeing that. I see here mindfulness. Yeah. Balance, mindfulness, living in harmony. Right. You did mention that. Self-love. You did mention that too.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful idea. I talked to a lot of hypnotherapists and they mentioned that over and over again,
Yeah,
how powerful it is,
amazing.
the subconscious. So before we say goodbye, I have 2 questions for you. Oh, actually, is there anything else that you left unsaid, Sarah, that you wanted to share?
No, I think we've covered so much. It was more for me. It's more about just a casual conversation of topics that come up, and different things come through that I feel like I need to share. And I'm happy with this. It's beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for that too, for flowing with the moment. I love that. I have to make all my notes here because I love so much being spontaneous that I would be all over the place. If I didn't have my notes, I'll be in serious trouble with this. So, 2 questions. What is freedom to you?
Freedom to me is a belief that anything is possible. Because the belief holds
Uh,
the belief holds everything, really. Once we believe something is possible, it's possible. Whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. So belief to me is the belief that anything is possible for me and I have no limits. And that's freedom.
I love that. And I wonder if there's the possibility of navigating this reality without a belief system, just taking everything as it is in a fresh, in a fresh way.
Possibly, but as humans with a subconscious mind, that's so powerful. Like we're talking, the subconscious mind runs at 40 million bits of information per second. It's so powerful.
Right.
Can we live without a belief system? You can possibly try, but there's always going to be a belief, a program that has a perception attached to it that determines how you act in this world. So, yeah, we're human.
So my last question is, this is a question that I usually ask everyone. All these ending questions I usually ask everyone. What 3 experiences you wish everyone to have before they die, before they lose the body?
The knowing again of you are unlimited.
Yeah.
Living your dream life for whatever that means to you, and having that peace within yourself to just live that way.
Yeah.
And to show others and to live. I really would love for everyone to have that belief that everything they need is within themselves. To reignite that power. It's the foundation of what I do and who I am. So that is the biggest thing for me. Find that power, switch it on, and live life unlimited in everything that you do, with that knowing that you can do anything. We were all born equally. No one's more special than the other person. We don't need to create abundance. We need to align with abundance. What we do create is limitations. So once we shift those limitations, we align more with abundance. We keep raising the frequency and the vibration we live at. And again, in turn, together we shift the frequency of the universe of humanity.
Wow, I never heard it that way. That's fresh, Cheryl. We create limitations.
We don't it's so a lot of I always talk about abundance, and people think it's something you need to create. Abundance is energy, consciousness. It's there. We create the limitations that stop us from aligning with that abundance. Once we are aware of those limitations, we get to dismantle them.
Yeah, what a powerful message.
So that's definitely something everyone needs to remember. And when something does come up for you that's stopping you in your track, remember that's just a limitation, because you are born abundant. You are born limitless. And I think, we could go on all day, but I'll leave it there.
Yeah. Thank you so much again for your presence, Cheryl, in our reality.
Thank you
and for everything that I absolutely love your perception, your perspective of this reality, of yourself in this reality. It's just so in alignment to what the things that I have learned, which I have different words for it, but it's the same thing.
Yes.
So thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll be in touch. Bye for now. Take good care of yourself.
Bye-bye.